What's up everybody, Sean here and welcome back to another video. If you like the content I make, please consider subscribing to the channel or leave me a comment what else you'd like to see. When Apple launched their first Apple Watch back in 2015, it was arguably one of the best video presentations they had ever made. Now some of you watch enthusiasts may not agree with me, but I do feel that Apple did do some truly innovative stuff with it. And I was enough of a fan that shortly after I went to get myself one. It served me well for almost 4 years before it finally became unusable, mainly due to how slow it had become and how the battery could not hold a charge anymore. Now, although I loved all the conveniences and lifestyle features that it offered me, I made the decision that I would not be replacing my Apple Watch anytime in the near future. And here is why. If you've been around my YouTube channel or my blog, you probably have noticed that I am in fact a watch enthusiast. I collect mechanical watches and I even do reviews of them on my YouTube channel and my blog. Now I'm sure there will be some of you watch enthusiasts who will be up in arms about the fact that I actually bought an Apple Watch previously despite being a watch enthusiast, but hear me out. I do believe that the Apple Watch has about as much impact on the history of watches as any other iconic watch. In fact, it was almost like the second coming of the quartz crisis in how it was able to rally massive interest in the smartwatch market and even threaten traditional watchmakers. Plus, I love tech as much as I love the craftsmanship and the ingenuity that goes into a well-made mechanical watch. So I was genuinely curious about what Apple's new smartwatch could actually offer me. One thing I did learn while wearing my Apple Watch daily, however, is how it actually made me neglect the rest of my collection due to the conveniences and features that it offered me. The convenience of barely having to take out my iPhone from my pocket anymore and the fitness tracking features were really addictive. Apple had effectively made an accessory that many people would be compelled to put on every single day simply due to how well it enhances the experience of their existing products. When my Apple Watch finally gave up, however, I took the opportunity to give my collection the much needed love that it was deprived of. I eventually realized that I didn't really miss what the Apple Watch offered, and it was at most a nice to have rather than a must have. That experience alone made me fall in love with mechanical watches even more, and my collection has effectively doubled since then in the last 2 years. I hope my fiance is not watching this. Another harsh reality that I encountered is that Apple Watches are indeed disposable. Now, this may not mean much to non-enthusiasts, but for us collectors, or me at least, every watch I own has a story and a sentimental value to it. Whether it was given to me or simply just something that I really saved up for, or even just one that I bought on a whim out of impulse, it has a meaning. Mechanical watches can also last pretty much forever if properly taken care of. I rotate between several mechanical watches every day, and any one of them will only require a service many years after any other smartwatch has become obsolete. A smartwatch, on the other hand, just like any other computer, simply will not last forever no matter how well you look after it. I still have my original Apple Watch with me, but there really isn't any way that I can make it run the same way that it did back when it was brand new, simply because it's too slow for the current software these days. It breaks my heart, but the reality of smartwatches is that they simply aren't something that you can keep forever, let alone pass down to the next generation. That's not to say that I wouldn't recommend an Apple Watch at all, quite the contrary really. As the title suggests, I do think that Apple Watches are great pieces of technology, and there are many people to whom I would recommend them. As a watch collector, I have to accept the reality that quite a lot of people actually don't care about watches at all, and many of them don't even use a watch to tell the time anymore. For people like that, I think an Apple Watch is a great accessory, assuming they already use an iPhone, because they would be gaining a whole lot of conveniences and health and safety tracking features without giving up anything, apart from about $500 to $700 of course. To be able to check your messages, your emails, your notifications, and even to tell the time without even having to reach for your iPhone anymore is honestly far more impactful than it sounds. Not to mention the constant monitoring of your vitals such as your heart rate, or even fall detection, which can automatically notify emergency services if it detects that you've had a fall. To say that an Apple Watch is simply a fashion gimmick would be quite unfair. It is a high functioning piece of tech and it indeed does have its place in society. Now, I'm a big fan of Apple products. No, I am not blind to their shortcomings, nor do I care about the status of owning their stuff. I just really agree with most of their design and product philosophies. But I'm also a big fan of traditional watches. I love the history behind the brands, the craftsmanship, the development of their utility, and their inner workings. Wearing a watch to me is just like wearing a piece of art, and there are so many pieces to be admired and collected. Wearing an Apple Watch for full effect does require you to keep it on pretty much all the time, and this would simply just take away the enjoyment of all the other pieces in my collection. Having also realized that the conveniences it offers aren't really something that I actually miss after I've stopped wearing it, has only further cemented my decision to not neglect my collection anymore. So that wraps things up for today. If you like this video, please consider giving me a like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.